Hello Bitsbrood, this is Craig from bitsbox.co.uk here, and in this video I'm going to be kitbashing some Masters of the Chapter in Primaris style. So these are very old Citadel miniatures from the Firstborn Space Marines, and they always looked really cool, I thought. I did have some way back when, and yeah, I thought it would be a cool little project to make them in Primaris scale. Now GW did release another 4 of these in a second set later down the line, so I might tackle them in a future video. But for this one, we're doing the original 4. So yeah, let's hit the desk and get into it. Okay, so the first one I'm going to do is the guy with the Thunderhammer. And as soon as I sort of had this idea for this project in mind, I knew straight away exactly what body I wanted to use for this one. And that is this one. And this is the Ancient from the Company Hero set. And rather annoyingly, I don't have that arm for him. I might have to change how we sell him on the site, because we sell it without that arm, and that arm's sold with the gun. But annoyingly, if you want to use the banner, you need that arm as well. So I'm going to find another arm to use there. Of course, he's not going to have a banner. I did originally think about having the same sort of pose, where he has the Thunderhammer up like that. But I wouldn't really know what to do with this particularly. It might be a bit of a pain to try and kitbash into something else. But then I thought, what if we have the banner arms and obviously chop it down and have him holding the Thunderhammer in both hands? And I think that could work really well. So first thing to do, now I'm not 100% sure what I'm going to do with the bottom yet, whether I'm just going to trim this or just put a bottom of a Thunderhammer or something in, which is what I probably will do. But I do know that I need to take this banner off, and I'll find another use for this banner, I'm sure. Hopefully it'll be in my own personal bits box for something. And yeah, I'll try and get this on. I'm going to shorten this pole. I'm probably not going to use it. I probably will replace the bottom. So I will just snip the bottom off just to make it a little bit easier for now. And yeah, I'm thinking maybe an arm from an intercessor bolt rifle will probably work. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get that glued on. And yeah, hopefully we can make this work. I also just have a regular Primaris backpack that's going to go on him as well. So yeah, I'll get that glued up and then we'll work on the Thunderhammer. Alright, so here's how he's looking. I will need to do a little bit of green stuff work to fill in these little gaps there, but I'll do that at the end. And just before we get to the Thunderhammer, I do have his head. So this head is going to be this one, which is from the actual Primaris Ancient, not the one in the Company Heroes, but the one that you can buy separately. And I think I'm going to have it looking off to the side. Now normally I'll put the head on last, but we've pretty much got an idea of what's going on here. I've also got a shoulder pad, because we do need a shoulder pad on here. And I've got an old Mark II Space Marine one. It's a little bit bad, but we're not going to see all that, which is why I picked this one over some of my other ones. So that's going to slide in under here. And I went for the Mark II, because I quite like the trim on it. And I want something a little bit more fancy than just a normal shoulder pad. And most fancy shoulder pads don't fit, where this one does. So that's a stroke of luck. So whilst that is drying, I've got a Thunderhammer here. So I couldn't find any Thunderhammers of this sort of square nature. I'm sure there's some about, but we don't. I couldn't find any. So I actually made this as a 3D file, just using. We already had like the shaft bit from some of our other hammers, so I just nicked that and then just made this simple little head. I didn't put the Imperial Eagle or anything on it because we actually sell these on our store now, and we do different sizes. There's Terminator size, Marine size, which is this one, and there's a smaller one if you want to give a big hammer to a Necromunda miniature or anything. So yeah, they're available in our store. I'm sure I've got some brass etch somewhere with like Imperial Eagles on. I'm gonna have to try and find that, because that would be perfect to go on here. I could just reprint one with an eagle on, but anyway, I'm yapping too much. Obviously, I don't need all of this, I just need the top. So I'm going to snip it. It's going to be a pain to attach, I know that. I'm going to snip it there. And yeah, I mean, I could pin it. I might have to pin it. That's going to be pretty cool. I think I'm going to have it that way round though. Yeah, I'll file this down flat, get a nice flat surface to attach it to. And yeah, I think in regards to the bottom of the pole, you don't see a lot of it. It's sort of hidden behind here, so I'm not going to worry too much about it. I might just shorten it a little bit further though. That's actually quite long. So yeah, I'll shorten that a bit more as well. Okay, so here he is with the hammer on. And yeah, I'll probably put some green stuff around that join as well. I might even try and make some green stuff wrapping on there as well. My green stuff skills are very limited, but hey, if I don't give it a go, then I can't improve. So yeah, that's the next step, and then he'll be done essentially. I don't know if there's any little trinkets or maybe a holster or something I might add to him. Maybe everything will just be in such hard to reach areas for painting that I might not bother. But yeah, certainly just need some green stuff. And yeah, hopefully if I can find my brass etch Space Marine Eagles, I will add one, but it's not looking likely at the moment. Okay, so on to the next one. And this guy has a bolt gun and a sword. Of course, that's going to be upgraded to a bolt rifle. And what I've got here is a Primaris Captain body, just a regular backpack. And we don't have any of the bits that go there left. So I've got a tilt shield from the Hellblasters. But I won't put it on just yet, because we need to take his arms off. So he is going to be armless for a little while. So first things first, if I can find where I put it. I'll do with that. I might put it back in the bag by mistake. So I do have a bolt rifle in my little, is it in my trusty bag of bits? It is. I've got a nice bag of bits for the other miniatures we're making as well in this video. And I left all the bits out for this one apart from his bolt rifle, which is the first bit I need. So this is from the Sternguard Veterans, I believe. I just want one with a strap, just to be similar to the original model. I'm not going to change the ammo clip. It was originally, but I'm going to leave it there. I might stick a purity seal on it later. The miniature has a lot of purity seals, and I've got some that I've 3D printed that I'm going to be putting onto him later. The pose is going to be slightly different. I did think about changing it, but with the strap and that, it might just make it all a bit awkward. But I could probably trim down some of that. I don't know whether to have it up or out. I think with the cloak, it might have to go up a bit. But I quite like that actually. Yeah, I actually like that because he's got his leg on the train there, and he's got that up, and we can have the sword down. I think that's going to work quite well. So I'll just neaten this up and get that glued on. Okay, so I've got the arm and the tilt shield on. I don't know, I've got stuck on there a little bit of plastic or something, but that's fine. And for his shoulder pad, I'm going to use one of these studded ones from the Mark 6 Space Marines to match the original. Stupid ones you have to glue in 2 pieces. I'm hoping I can squeeze it on. It seems quite a tight fit. The cloak's getting in the way a little bit. Yeah, I might have to come down a bit. No, I'd like that up more. Yeah, that cloak seems to be getting in the way. Oh, there we go. Okay, cool. Just needs a little bit of persuasion. There we go. It's not perfect, but it's on. There we go. Oh, that seam down the middle, I hate it. Why can't they just be a single piece like they used to in the good old days? I don't know. While that's drying, let's move on to his sword. And this is not a sword, but this is from the Ultramarines upgrades, just the regular ones. I think it's the regular ones, not the Primaris ones. Correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, I'm building these as Ultramarines, and I did buy both the upgrade sprues. This is the first time I've used a piece of them, and I don't know if I'll be using any more. Maybe, we'll see. Anything I don't use, we can just chuck on the site. And make it available to purchase, it's fine, or I can save it for another project. Not particularly fond of Ultramarines, to be fair, so I don't know if I'll build many in the future. However, they are quite good for conversions and stuff, so who knows. Who knows. Anyway, it was sword, nice and simple, just taking the heavy bolt pistol off an assault intercessor, as I'm building some of them at the moment, so I've got plenty of spare parts. And I'll put that on. And the shoulder pad for that one is just a plain one again from the Mark 6. Okay, so here's how he's looking at the moment. Almost there. For his head, obviously you want one with a bionic eye. I found this one from the Legion Command Squad from Horus Heresy. And hopefully it's not going to be too dinky. They're slightly smaller than Primaris ones, but not really by much. And I need to just position him. Sorry, Matt Shop. Where we want to go. Maybe there. Let's head down. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, not too bad. It's slightly smaller, as I said, but I think it's going to work okay. So all that's left really is to add on some purity seals, and I've printed these ones out. These are the Grey Tide Studio ones. You can buy them from our website. Many people already have. Good, cheap little resource for getting loads of purity seals. And I'm going to put one on his shoulder pad, one on his gun, and one on his cloak. And with that one done, we are now coming on to the next one. Right. For this next one, it's going to be a bit of an expensive kit bash, because I've got the body here from Helbrecht, which I'm going to use for the legs. And then for the actual upper torso, if it fits, I haven't actually tried it yet, if it fits, I'm going to take the torso from Marnius Calgar, which will look really good, but it is Gravis. But we can make it work. The width is very similar, so I think it will work. But yeah, I haven't glued all of Helbrecht together, because I think in order to get this top bit off, it's easier to do it as it is like this. So yeah, you don't look at my hand. It's just, I'm trying to think where the best way to chop this is. Maybe at the top there. Now ideally probably a hobby saw or something would be better here, but I don't actually know what happened to mine. I'll have to invest in a new one. But I think, yeah, here we go. A few snips and that'll be off. So here are the legs with the belt now attached. And of course he's got one leg up. So I'm going to use this base rock here, which was from the captain in the company hero set. And we'll stick him on there like so. Okay, so this is how the legs are looking. And just going to hopefully, I'll have to file this down a bit straight, but hopefully we can get Calgar's body on there. So I'll just dry fin some of this. So this is the back of Helbrecht. This is the front of Calgar. And would you believe, like, how good is that? I'll hardly have to do any work here to get that to fit. That's quite incredible. I don't know what gaps we're going to be left with, but once the arms are in, we probably won't even see them. But yeah, hopefully we can just bring the body forward enough to be alright. So I think what I'm going to do is get this on, because then I know exactly how much of this I need to file down at the bottom to get that to fit, because I think it'll be a little bit too high. But yeah, I'll get that on. I'm also going to glue the arm on. So I'll cut the arm off Helbrecht's body. I'm going to put that back on. And we've got this bit here. I've filed off the Black Templar symbol on the shoulder pad. Not particularly well, but I'll neaten that up a bit more. And then that will go on as well. So yeah, it's going to be getting somewhere. So here's how he's looking so far, and yeah, I'm quite happy with that. So we are going to use Helbrecht's sword as well to keep with the original pose. I'll just need a little bit of filling there. I'm just going to use a little bit of putty or something just for now. And yeah, I was going to swap the sword out, but a lot of power swords, like I had this one, you can see the size difference is quite significant. Not bring them back together. So we'll keep the Helbrechts. That's a really nice sword. It's not particularly got too much in terms of Black Temple iconography on it. It's got that little bit just on the skull there, which I'll file off. But just for purposes of the video, I'm just going to put that in place now because I want to just get this video recorded. And yeah, I was just trying to finish filming this evening, so I won't have time to muck around with the green stuff. I will probably take a little bit of that putty out, make it look a little bit better. Before we do the other hand, stick on his head. Now I don't actually know where his head's from. I should have wrote these down. It does have a little peg underneath, which I've chopped off. So I'm not really sure what Space Marine sets do have them pegs underneath. Not many. But really for these, I'm just picking out any sort of bald heads with some studs on that I can find. And I think we'll... I mean, the original one's sort of looking this way. So we'll do it like that. And this is the only one we'll actually use an original piece from the miniatures we're trying to replicate here, and that is the hand holding the helmet, or the power fist holding the helmet, I should say. And yeah, I'm going to just chop away a little bit of that arm. It's not going to be bent like the other one, so I'm probably going to have him holding it down. I quite like it bent up like that, but it's not really going to work. I could have replaced that arm, maybe. It's just that this sort of get in the way, so I think you might have to be holding that sort of downwards a little bit, probably more like that. We can angle it slightly. But yeah, there's a little bit of cutting involved, and again, maybe a little bit of gap filling. So here's how this one is looking, and yeah, I really like this one. I think it's come out really, really nice. It's pretty cool. So on to the next one. Okay, so this next one might be a little bit tricky. We'll see. I was originally going to use an honor guard because it's got these tassely bits, it's got rope across the chest. Everything about it is perfect apart from the size. So if we bring out our previous guy, like you can see, like he's a lot smaller. Same for the ancient body as well, what this one uses. They're all quite small. So speaking of ancient bodies, we've got one from the Primaris Ancient, and I'm hoping you can see like he's a bit taller with the legs, so he's going to look a lot better in comparison. He's still going to be slightly shorter, but not by much. So I'm hoping, yeah, I can chop this bit off, chop the front of the belt, and then take the legs off this and the front of the belt, and hopefully that'll go on. There'll be a big old gap there, but that'll be the least of my worries. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if this will work, but I really want to use this bit. And worst comes to worst, I'll just keep this bit and maybe just use the regular body on this. I don't know, but I need to chop this up as well. So yeah, I don't know. This is a risky one. It could go horribly wrong, and then I don't actually have a backup plan. I was going to use a Blade Guard Veteran body, but again, it's just too small. It might not be very neat around these edges here, so I've really got to try and be careful with my cuts. So obviously it's all just sort of merged on, and the back I'm not too fussed about because we ain't going to see that. But trying to get across here, yeah, it's going to fold that in. I'm going to chop it across there, and I'm going to just take off little bits. So I'll be back once both of these are trimmed up. So after lots of filing and cutting and sending far too many pieces of microplastic into the air, this is what I've got. It's not perfect by any stretch, but it's close enough. I've put some putty to fill in gaps. I've added some pouches from the solid intercessors just to cover up some little gaps. It's still not perfect, but it will do. And yeah, time for some arms. You can see I've got one here. So this arm should hopefully cover up this bit of gap here. So I didn't put no putty in there. Blade Guard Veteran arm with the shield. Because of course he has a shield and an axe. They're going to be in the opposite hands to the original. But it's just easier to do it that way. So I'll get that glued on there in a sec. For the other arm, I've got another Blade Guard arm with a sword. And then the axe, which I did have lying around, over here, is from the Thunderwolf Cavalry, and I've filed down, not very well to be fair, but I filed a little diamond thing off. And yeah, that should hopefully go on there with a little bit of snipping. Okay, so here's how he's looking after all that. Not bad, bit rough around the edges, but still pretty cool. So, stick on his shoulder pads. And I've got this one from the Ultramarines Primaris upgrades, which is going to go on there. It slots in there. Yeah, I'm not too keen on that gap there. I won't do it in this video, but if I ever do decide to paint these, I will fill that in with some green stuff. And then lastly, just his head. Again, I'm not going to glue it on because I will do some green stuff here. But that can just slot in there nicely. Again, it's just another bear head with some studs. I mean, there's loads in the Space Marine range. It doesn't really matter which ones I use here. I just picked up a load that we had in stock. We don't particularly sell a lot of them, to be fair. But for these guys, yeah, really cool. So let's have a look at all of them together. So this was a really fun project, and one that I've been meaning to do for quite a while. Various levels of success, I think, with these, but they all look pretty cool, and yeah, I'm quite happy with how they turned out. Whether I'll ever get round to painting them, that is another thing altogether, but no, really fun to build. I want to do more kitbashing on this channel, so any ideas, do let me know in the comments, and I'm sure I'll come up with some myself as well. For the last guy, you'll notice that I've added a cape onto the back of him as well. That was the original plan. I think this was from the captain in the company command, I believe. But yeah, I misplaced it, so I sort of built him without it. But then just before filming these shots, I did find it, so I'll quickly put that on. But yeah, do let me know which one is your favourite. And if you have enjoyed this video, then please do feel free to give it a like, and you can subscribe to our channel if you haven't done so already. We're going to be doing a big bits giveaway very soon, which will be open to our subscribers. So if you want to be a part of that, then definitely hit that subscribe button. All that's left to say is thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all again in the next video.